Welcome back to Persona Q2 New Simmer Labyrinth. I almost said Strikers there. I guess it's because all the Phantom Thieves are here. Anyway, Velvet Room is still question mark, so we can't really do it yet, but we've completed the second floor of Kamoshida Man. So now it is time to venture forth and go into the third floor, where something very, very big will be awaiting us. Now, if we go into the party edit, I put Yusuke in the party here. He is a little weak, and that's kind of why he's here. I need him to level up a little bit. But also, in terms of persona management, let's say, okay, I only have 4 personas, so I don't have one to cover Yusuke right now. Okay, Joker has Dormina, Akechi has Poisma. That is very important. I'm so sorry to interrupt this amazing song, but we are really, really going to want Poison where we're going. I guess while we're here, we can do a search. Okay, didn't get any encounters, that's good, because I need to go into this next one pretty fresh. It's kind of a rough... Go away! That is disgusting, that poster, and it should die. But now here we go. Futaba interrupted herself there. Yeah, enemies down the stairs. Probably best if you do it when you're as prepared as possible. And by that, I mean, yeah, the game doesn't really tell you this until it's too late. You want some kind of status ailments going forward. You do have access to Impusa around about this point, so having poison's not too hard to get. But let's go. Also, people have said maybe I shouldn't scroll the non-voice text too fast. Yeah, that makes sense. I read pretty quickly, given that I play a lot of JRPGs. Kamoshida Man, 3rd Avenue. This is actually the last main floor of this place. Well, it's not too quiet anymore. And it's time. Are you ready for peak character? Danger Zone hype! I love that boss theme from Portable. And we have a new battle theme too. And it's sung by the female singer of Persona 3 Portable's vocal themes. Yeah, there's yet one more singer added to the crossover of musicians in this game. I love it when, like, the background music in the cutscene leading up to the battle is the same as in the actual battle itself. Now, I would actually consider... It's funny, they say brown-haired, but in my head, she's more red-haired, but, I guess brown's fine. Yeah, we know Theo. Hopefully you can save him from his life of abuse at the hands of his siblings. So it's not just the bribe fuzz, it's also a... Cop summoning tanks. What is this, Grand Theft Auto? I mean, in a way, it kind of is. So, yeah, the bribe fuzz, we already know they're weak to fire. Now, the Scarlet Turret is supposed to be weak to electricity, wind, and curse. But you might be disappointed if you try and use those, because the wikis don't mention one thing about it that won't be alluded to for a little bit. But for now, I think we need to use fire on the, that guy. I've actually found out, so, somebody has actually been data mining, well, actually the Etrian Odyssey games, but the Q games by extension, and I've asked them to provide me with some info. It turns out Line Guard has a speed priority of plus 30, so those gold shadows earlier must have been really fast. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna go for... Yeah, I'm gonna actually buff Ryuji's agility. And yeah, Koha, but no, what I really want to do is I want to use Poisma on the Scarlet Turret. And you are gonna go ahead and, yeah, the problem with putting things to sleep is that other people can go, like, it's generally more effective to have somebody slow put enemies to sleep, because that way they don't just get woken up before the sleep becomes a thing. I guess I can try and dream. Nope, I can't dream middle, because, like, it's based on gun skills, but it's not actually a gun skill. A single shot is a gun skill, though, and so it can target the back row. Yeah, even though the element's not defined into physical and gun, like, gun skills are still their own category. Or at least range skills. Ah, there we go. So, I have also asked this data miner to go over the ailment infliction rate, speaking of single shot, and how it actually scales off of your luck stat. It turns out that it's extremely complicated, and I'll explain it more as we likely go through this next floor. It's a little too much to go into here, but the TLDR version is that your luck and magic affects your ailment chances, and it's compared to the enemy's luck and magic, and also their resistance to that ailment. All ailment skills technically can't miss. All that's rolled for is the ailment infliction rates, which is a base rate of 70% for normal skills, but that's scaled off of, like, single target skills, I mean, but it's scaled off of other things. But ultimately, there's apparently a bug in the formula. Again, it's complicated. Basically, luck and magic influence it. And any ailment boosting skills are insanely useful. And I'll explain why once we get them, but you can get one of them during the first dungeon. So, basically, I was explaining a totally different mechanic there, but here's an important mechanic to explain. The Scarlet Turret has what's called an affinity barrier. Until it reaches half HP and the barrier breaks, it has no weaknesses, and it in fact resists basically everything. So, you are expected to go for status ailments here. They're generally the best shot you've got of dealing, like, a good amount of damage to it without elemental attacks, because they're just gonna run afoul of, you know, it not being weak to anything. You just hit the officer. Let's see, you can... okay, no, I'm gonna go for the Koha now. How about you, dear Ryuji? Having Ryuji guard while someone heals him is a pretty effective strategy. I know that's basically like tanking 101, but, and that's exactly why I gave him Tsukakaja. Yeah, unfortunately, Line Guard's not as useful here because of the single shot, like, that's gonna pierce the back row regardless. You actually have to be careful of Line Guard versus, like, AoE attacks. Yeah, the Scarlet Turret also gets 2 actions per turn. Because, if, say, Ryuji Line Guards for an attack that hits an entire row of 3, he will take all 3 hits of that attack, and that can add up. Okay, let's... Oh, Ryuji himself has Tsukakaja too. Maybe he can go for that on, like, on, maybe? Keep attacking that, and I think we established that Crow was gonna heal, except no, that thing got unpoisoned, so we have to poison it again. So Joker's gonna heal Ryuji again. Probably should have used the heal with Arn, maybe, but I just want to get rid of that, that guy in the back. There he goes, okay. Yeah, like, the poison's the only effective damage against this turret. You can also, like, confuse it or put it to sleep. And, oh, wow, I forgot that it had Heat Wave. Yeah, Ryuji would have been hit by all 3 hits on the front row of that if he'd been line guarding there. Huh, well, we established earlier that this actually does stack with Fang Smash. Let me check its, debuff time. Okay, it's got 2 on Fang Smash. I think I'll Fang Smash again. You're just gonna guard. And you're gonna go for the refresh. I think we established earlier that Akechi's pretty fast, so I should be able to get this here. Yep, the tank's also fast. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, as is usual in these kinds of games, buffs, debuffs, and here ailments are all really good. And now we're going to see that, I'll be able to show it on the enemy stat screen, but Tarunda and Fang Smash do indeed stack. I believe this is where I first discovered that in my test playthrough. And that, wait no, it's not quite Affinity Armor broken yet. But yeah, Fang Smash and Tarunda are separate debuffs. Now, do I have any Navigator skills? Mini Recovery? Let's not go for that just yet. I also just realized I've forgotten to go over Futaba's, bio yet. I will be doing that once we get back, because I'll have one other character to go over too. This thing is recovering from poison way more than it usually does. Oh, okay, it's broken now. So here, like, for the shielded shadows, they actually make use of 2 different shadow models. Like, now it's reverted to that, I don't know what it's called, but that other form of turret from Persona 3. So now, it actually has weaknesses. In this case, to Wind, Electric, and Curse. Deals certain damage or meets certain other conditions. Shadows will visibly change when it's deactivated. But yeah, they're all cannot analyze while the barrier is still active. And I want to say they're immune to crits while the barrier is up, because that would make sense. Okay, yeah, he's still got enough for Aha. Well, I mean, I guess I can try and panic it now. Because an enemy can only have 1 ailment at a time. And I believe they get overwritten if you hit them with a different one, so... maybe, yeah, going with Ruji Panic there right after Poison is not the best. I'm not having as much luck with Poison here as I usually do, and that does not bode well for the first boss fight, which I'm going to be using a lot of Poison for. Okay, yeah, also, this thing. It's a good thing that it has 3 weaknesses, because every time it gets hit by a weakness, it is guaranteed to use the wall skill for that weakness, so it is no longer weak to Curse. Should be almost down, though. Yeah, Zio would technically hit a weakness on it, but I'm out of SP. It's fine to go crazy with SP here, because we'll be automatically returning to base after this. Yeah, I am really glad that, I actually got the all-out attack bonus from that one. Rakukage is okay, I'd rather have Rakunda, though. Fuzz Cuffs and Scarlet Metal. Oh yeah, an important thing to mention, the first Q had conditional drops, which is a mechanic from Etrian Odyssey, where certain enemies would only give their rare drops if killed in a specific way, usually with an element, but sometimes with instant death or while bound. There are no conditional drops in Q2, and I'm kind of glad for that, because I never really found the mechanic that compelling in the first game. It's a big Etrian Odyssey thing, though. And hey, we've got Persona 3 portable music here, FeMC root music.
もしかして君たちもペルソナ使い？ああ、そっちも同じみたいだな。俺たちの他にもペルソナ使いが不思議な縁を感じるな。私もびっくりしちゃった。すごいマスクつけてるし、最初は敵かと。
Well, to be fair, she's used to fighting shadows with masks.
旗から見たら確かに変だよね。
They're very stylish, actually.
そうだね。とっても個性的だと思う。そうだ。さっき言ってたことなんだけど、テオドアのことを知ってるの？
You know, she just, so like, that thing that got just translated as personality was Corsair Techie. I wonder if that's where Yusuke's high school name, like, if it actually kind of means, like, Weirdo High.
ああ、知っていると言っても出会ったばかりだけどね。
そっか。よかった、テオが無事で。突然はぐれちゃって心配してたんだ。
So, the FeMC in Portable had the option of either Elizabeth or Theodore as a Velvet Room attendant, but this game establishes that her picking Theodore is canon.
向こうも君のことを心配していたよ。早く再会できるといいね。
Like, to be fair, it's actually, like, a little bit kind of outdated and offensive, the fact that, like, they let FeMC have both of them, but they didn't let male MC have Theodore, because they were okay with, like, a female-female romance, but not a male-male one.
どうもありがとう。あ、そういえば、自己紹介まだだったね。
And yes, indeed, we do get to name all 4 protagonists. So, this character is, like, officially known in this game as P3 Heroine, to contrast P5 Hero and P3 Hero, P4 Hero, obviously. But since I first played Q, she now actually does have an official canon name. And there are enough spaces to fit it. Just barely. Now, in my first playthrough of Q2, I actually named her Makoto Yuki, the canon name of the male MC of Persona 3, just because I thought it was really funny to have 3 Makotos in the same game, and Makoto's a gender-neutral name. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the canon one this time. She is the only protag whose canon name can fit.
よろしくね、みんな。
あ、ここで会ったのも何かの縁だ。よろしく頼む。
それでね、さっきから気になってたんだけど。
And yeah, the reason why we know this name is canon is because in the modern ports of Portable, changing the language defaults her name back to Kotone Shiomi. I like the name Kotone. It's Lyra's Japanese name in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
お面だけじゃなくて、みんなの格好ってなんていうか、怪盗みたいだね。
And then this is not totally relevant to what she's saying right here, but I just want to finish this thought that it literally means the sound of a koto.
おい、やばくね。正体バレたんじゃ。
Yeah, that phrase bareta, or like that. I like to translate that as busted, but like, yeah, it means like found out.
正体？バカスカル、墓穴掘ってんじゃねえよ。
Actually, in terms of Japanese trivia, that thing shortai, in terms of who you really are, that literally means true form, and that is what Joker says when he pulls masks off of shadows, so I wonder if that's like an intentional reference, like, shortai or miseru, show me a true form. Costume party. I mean, this is like technically true, from a certain point of view.
コスプレ怪盗のプロ？それともコスプレしたプロ怪盗？あれ？それは深く考えたら負けっていうか、たまたま怪盗団が話題だったから流行に便乗したっていう設定？設定って言うな。そうなんだ。よくわからないけど楽しそうだね。
ひょっとして怪盗団を知らない？
嘘。ここ最近は毎日ニュースとかネットで騒がれてるはずだよ。本当に聞いたことない？心の怪盗団って。ごめん、何のことだか。ニュースはよく見るんだけど。
Admit it, you only watch it because it's on before Featherman.
おいおい、マジで知らねえみたいだな。怪盗団って実は全国区じゃねえのか？
Well, I mean, this is about the point in the story where they get framed for murder, so like they probably are internationally famous for all the wrong reasons.
確かに地域が違えばニュースも変わる。しかしそれにしても
I mean, I don't typically watch news when I'm in like other states, but like oftentimes I have put on the TV of like other Australian states, and it is wild just how different it can be. Even like the commercials.
何にせよ好都合じゃないか。それにとりあえずはここを脱出するのが最優先だと思うが。
ああ、町の人が話していた僕たち以外の族って彼女のことじゃないかな。だとするとあまりここで長話もできない。映画館に戻った方がいいと思う。
映画館？私ここもどこだかよくわからなくて。どうやら我が輩たちの方がいろいろと知ってるみたいだな。
This would also imply, though, that she's been surviving inside this place for just as long as we've been here. She never found the exit.
わ、猫が喋った。猫じゃねえしって今さらその反応かよ。さっき一緒に戦っただろ。あ、そういえばそうだったね。この子もペルソナ使いなんだよね。
Yeah, it's a very long story.
そうだ。我が輩がこうなったのはメメントスの歪みを受け。
No, don't give the whole backstory dump now.
メメントス？
はいはい、その話はまた今度な。
Yeah, it's kind of like Tartarus, that's all you need to know.
モナのこともそうだが、俺たちのことも説明はしておいた方が良くないか。同じペルソナ使いだ。事情は分かってくれると思う。
Yeah, we should probably find a safe place first.
話ならば映画館へ向かうがてらに。
そうだね。テオドアさんにも早く会わせてあげたいし、テオのところまで案内してくれるなら私も一緒に行かせて。
じゃあ決まりだな。一旦戻ろうぜ。
ここが映画館？あの世界がこんな場所に繋がってるなんて。
ああ、俺たちもマジでビビったぜ。まだちょっと信じらんね
え。ようこそ。私、支配人のナギと申します。
はじめまして。お世話になります。
So apparently, Nagi's Japanese VA has there's like a meme about her being perpetually 17. I'm not really sure why.
ここへ来る前にみんなから軽く映画館の話は聞きました。
私もここから見ておりました。お怪我がなくてよかったわ。
よかった。ご無事だったのですね。
あ、テオ、ごめんね、心配かけて。みんなに助けてもらったんだ。
皆様に私からも改めて感謝を。
See, even though Theodore's kind of reduced to a joke in the spin-offs, at least he has one person who's consistently nice to him in this game.
私の大切なお客人を助けていただき、誠にありがとうございました。
So the funny thing is that FeMC in English is voiced by Laura Bailey, and Theodore's voiced by Travis Willingham, at least in the original P3. He's Bryce Papenbrook and Q. And that's hilarious because, like, Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey are married in real life, as are Elizabeth and the P3 male protagonist's English VAs, Tara Platt and Yuri Lowenthal.
あ、俺も気になっていた。改めて尋ねてもいいだろうか。
Can you do the Theodore? In fact, I actually have no idea where in the timeline the P3 protag is pulled, like, the FeMC is pulled from.
うまく説明できないけど。
Yeah, he's kind of a sort of an imaginary friend. Also, I have another imaginary friend who's a mysterious, creepy child who visits me in my dreams.
私がずっとお世話になってる人かな。
すっげえアバウトだな。難しいこと言われてもわかんねえけど。
っていうか、あれ？みんなその格好。
あ、服か。やはり戻るんだな。
戻る？あの服って変身するの？
Yes, we are the only persona used to get magic clothes, but I mean, at least the P4 party get magic glasses. And sadly, you weren't in Reload, so you didn't get the new C's outfits. Sigh. I just want to just say this right now. Okay. I hope this doesn't make people too mad, but I don't like it when people get mad at Reload just because FeMC isn't in it. Like, I realize the sheer amount of work that it would have taken to put, like, FeMC in. Like, it's not like Fire Emblem Engage, where the different genders of Avatar have the exact same dialogue and the exact same support conversations, and the exact same story. It would have required way more to have FeMC in Reload. There are mods that do it, apparently, and that's really respectful, but, yeah, I'm not too bothered by her not being in Reload. I know that it's sad, but at the very least, if you are a fan of FeMC, this game is for you. If you are not a fan of FeMC, you will become a fan of FeMC if you play this game.
説明すると長くなるんだけど、簡単に言うと、うちらの仕様みたいな?
Seriously, like I had never played Portable. I was very indifferent to the FeMC when I first played Q2. And you will see, she immediately endeared herself to me as a character. Like, I'm like, okay, this is like the best personality they ever could have given her.
すごい、かっこいい。そういえば、うちらのちゃんとした自己紹介ってまだだったよね。
だな。情報共有も兼ねて改めてしとこうぜ。
Off-screen exposition dump, go!
認知の世界で心を盗む怪盗団か。全然知らなかった。聞いた限り、同じペルソナ使いでも私たちとは勝手が違うみたい。
Yeah, Igor seems to change the rules of Persona summoning every few years. You get used to it.
そっちは服とか変わんねえんだな。同じペルソナ使いなのに。
お前が映画の中にいた例
の。おお、やっと出てきたな、双葉。
あなたがみんなのナビをしてるっていうことね。さっきは助けてくれてありがとう。私は別に何もしてない。あ、ごめんね。この子ちょっぴり人見知り激しくて。誰だって初めては緊張するよ。よろしくね、双葉ちゃん。あ、双葉ちゃん、そのヘッドフォン。かっこいいね。双葉ちゃんも音楽好きなの？おお、こいつの良さがわかるとは。何も一度も触れられたことないのに。
Yeah, this is an aspect of both Persona 3 protagonists that I do wish was acknowledged more, the fact that they seem to be audiophiles. Like, the headphones they use are implied to be very, like, of a very, like, good quality in universe.
ひょっとして話せるやつなのか？ほほう、オーディオマニアか。ちょっと語り合いたいな。
Oh, just wait until you meet Fuka later.
ところでテオ、課外活動部のメンバーは？ゆかりや順平はこっちに来てない？
今の時点では何とも言えませんが、その可能性は大いにあるでしょう。この方もお仲間の皆様ともどもこちらの世界に来られているわけですし。
そっか。ねえ、みんなは映画の中にいる友達を助けに行くんだよね。当たり前だろ。我が輩たちの大事な仲間だからな。
Daijina Nakama, that just gives me One Piece fan sub flashbacks. Nakama is an untranslatable word that must always stay Nakama, even when it sounds extremely awkward.
そうだよね。私も少しでも可能性があるなら自分の仲間を探したい。
I will admit, like, there's something weird about the fact that Cortania's mouth doesn't move while she's talking, and it's a bit of an uncanny valley.
決めた。私も一緒に行かせて。みんなの仲間探しも手伝うよ。
I don't know if it's a bug or they legitimately had more time to, like, put into the models of the P5 characters.
おお、それは助かるぜ。お前なら戦力になるしな。
Oh yes, she will be!
我が輩としてはぜひ仲間になってほしいや。どうだ？ありがとう。みんな、改めてよろしくね。こちらこそよろしく。大丈夫。みんなで探せば仲間もきっとすぐ見つかるよ。ありがとう、高巻さ
Yeah, so because she's less familiar, she's using last names plus honorifics.
あんでいいよ。
Yeah.
っていうか、むさ苦しい男子に囲まれてそろそろ限界だったし。
おい、誰がむさ苦しいんだよ。
ひかりちゃんだよね。みんなから話は聞いてるよ。私もここにいてもいいかな。はい。どうもありがとう。すげえ。コミュ力マックスだ。あれ。
ああ、俺たちに不足しがちな陽のパワーを感じる。
This is very interesting because this is the main thing that contrasts FeMC from the male protagonist in Persona 3. Even though she is a silent protagonist in that game, you still get this vibe from her, just through her dialogue choices. And the fact that, like, she's able to social link with Yukari much earlier than the male protagonist is. Like, people open up to her naturally, more easily, and she opens up to them more naturally. Yeah, like I said, it's an interesting contrast. There's a ton of people who say that, oh, FeMC is too bright and happy and optimistic for Persona 3. No, I don't think so. It's just two different spins on the same story.
ひかり、大丈夫そうかな。どう思う、双葉。
And it is interesting to see just how, like, the rest of the cast, their interactions and dynamics change when the protagonist is that different.
なぜに私？だって、ねえ。双葉と光ってあそこまで激しくないぞ。
Yeah, I would not describe Futaba as shy, but again, she's more autism coded in the sense that she can talk very easily to people that she's close to, but to people who are strangers, not really.
ただ少し前までの自分を見てるみたいでちょっと苦しいけど。
Yeah, and this is very important. Like again, Futaba has quite a lot to do with the themes of this story.
そっか。でも双葉だって今は私たちとこうして話してくれてる。光もきっと心を開いてくれるよ。うん。
じゃあ彼女に映画館の中を軽く案内しようか。
I kind of forgot just how, like, posh Akechi's non-Phantom Thief outfit is.
これから使う機会も出てくるだろうしね。
ああ、そうでした。施設といえば皆様をお連れしたい場所がございます。
お、なんだなんだ。
百聞は一見にしかずと申します。さあ、まずはこちらへ。
So not only do we have a new party member, but we also...
ここって売店？
ようこそ皆様。
Also, since looking up the VAs, I found out that Elizabeth is voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro in Japanese, who I mainly know from Fire Emblem Awakening, where she is all the female Robin voice options, one of the male Robins, and Morgan. Yeah, and none of them sound anything like Elizabeth. That is range.
首を長く長く我が主の花よりも長くしてお待ちいたしておりました。
Yeah, Elizabeth is just as amazing in Japanese as she is in English.
そこまで伸びてないように見えますが、それよりも姉上、まずは私のお客順にご挨拶を。
あら、これは失礼いたしました。エリザベスと申します。不肖の弟テオドアの姉でございます。あなた様のことは常々テオより伺っております。
Which means I think very little of you.
はじめまして。エリザベスさんのことはみんなから聞いてます。それにしてもテオにお姉さんがいたなんてちょっとびっくりしちゃった。
姉エリザベスは少し、いえ、かなり世間知らずなところがありまして、ご迷惑をおかけすると思いますが、どうかよろしくお願いいたします。
Yeah, I guess he gets to get one up on her here.
気の向くまま、風の吹くままがモットーでございます。
エリザベスさんもテオと一緒にここへ？
ええ、一瞬の出来事でございました。気づけばテオとこちらの映画館に。
主は不在でしたが、確かにあの時我々はベルベットルームにおりました。
So this was still in the interim period where Igor's Japanese voice actor had passed away and they hadn't found a replacement yet, so that's why he's not here.
それが突然この映画館へとつながり、その形をも変えたということですね。
ベルベットルームはお客様の定めとは不可分の部屋。全く無意味なことは起こらないという厳密なルールがございます。
I would say my favorite iteration of the Velvet Room is when it becomes a forge in Tactica.
つまり私たちがここへ来たのには意味があるということ？
その答えはどうぞご自身でお導きください。
Well, in general, whenever a bunch of Persona users get pulled into a crossover, it generally means there's some kind of mad god running around, so we'll keep that in the back of our minds.
とは言いましても、私たちもただ手をこまねくわけではございません。皆様の旅のお手伝いとしてテオにショップの準備を進めさせておりました。
Hey, the shop was already there.
お、どれどれ、早速。
お待ちください。まだ仕上げが残っております。
I like how Ryuji just literally freezes in the middle of his animation.
姉上、開店準備はすべて整えてあるはずですが。
開店というにはいささか盛り上がりに欠けます。
Oh, I know what's about to happen.
開店の儀式とはじゃんじゃんバリバリと景気よくあるべきなのですよ。
もちろん知ってますとも。じゃんじゃんと血湧き肉踊るようにバリバリとお祭り騒ぎをするのでしょ。
ええ、最後にその仕上げをしなくては。テオ、ちょっとこちらへ。
I don't like where this is going.
エリザベスさんの勢いに押されて何も言えなかったけど、テオ大丈夫かな？あ、戻ってきたみたい。
お待たせしました。
The silence just makes this moment.
テオ？
姉上、本当にこれが開店のために必要な装束なのでしょうか。
テオ、わからないのですか？恥じらいと共に訪れる不思議な高揚感が。これぞお客様を迎えるための開店の儀式、おもてなしの心、着ぐるみです。
なんと言われてみれば身まで浮くような気分ですね。
I just realized she actually called it a kigurumi, which is like the term that people use for like Japanese animal onesies now.
おっと、風船を持っている腕まで天に昇りそうに。
これツッコミ入れるべき？
入れ始めたらキリねえだろ。スルーしろ。
天然系と苦労人、深刻なツッコミ不足。
I wonder who that could be. Maybe they will be joining us later.
改めまして皆様、私がこの売店を担当させていただきます。
Yeah, that actually kind of reminds me, like, I normally don't really like Margaret that much in the context of Persona 4, but yeah, she does work better as playing the straight man to Elizabeth and Theodore. So when they aren't there, she's just kind of boring on her own.
商品の販売も含めまして、今後は新商品も追加していきます。
See, I alluded to this before. Now, when you sell shadow parts, you can unlock new equipment and items from the shop.
新商品？この状況でどうやって入荷を？
皆様が映画の中で得たものを私が商品として加工いたします。このポップコーンメーカーを使って。
どういうこと？
Using a popcorn maker to make, like, knives and weapons sounds weird, but it's the Velvet Attendants. They can make, you know, mythological embodiments of your soul out of a guillotine.
では、実演販売といたしましょう。今回は特別に私が材料を用意しました。これをポップコーンメーカーに入れて、スイッチオン。
Switch on. It's Joker's generic knife!
立派な武器の出来上がりです。ね、 簡単でしょ?
And I only know this because I currently have a Nendroid doll of Joker, and it comes with that knife.
なんでだよツッコミが追いつかねえわ
ポップコーンとはトウモロコシの実をいって内部を膨張させたものつまりは秘めたる可能性の権限
I mean, that's actually kind of true.
それはポップコーンメーカーだからこそできる奇跡の技です
無理やり押し切った
もし足りない素材がありましたらこちらからお伝えいたしますただし不足分の提示はお持ちになった素材からの判断になります
Yeah, in other words, he'll tell you when you almost have enough for something.
ご了承ください
You don't need to provide all the materials at once either. Like, it's basically like you need to sell him this many of this material at least once. And like, it's checked off the list.
なるほど。何が足りないか知るには一つでも他の素材がいるんだね。
売るということは協力するとはいえお金は取るということか。
物には対価を払う。世の摂理です。摂理は犯されざるものです。ご承知おきくださいませ。
凪様より諸々の引き継ぎもしております。今までにお売りいただいた素材がある場合、そこからの新商品も追加しておきます。
Yeah, like I was saying, don't worry if you've already sold him stuff. It's all taken into account.
店はできたし仲間も増えた張り切っていくしかねえな
じゃあ館内で準備を整えたら映画に戻るぞ誠と春が心配だ映画みんなが来て新しいシーンにこの先も変わるの
彼らを信じて今は見守るしかないですね一体どんな映画になるのかしら
Well, hopefully it's better than what it is right now.
おい
And that's not all. You know, to be honest, I think it's actually going alright. Yeah, we've unlocked Persona Fusion too. So, yeah, tons of new things happen when you start the third floor of this dungeon. So, yeah, we've already, like, this part's gone on for a while, and I need to go over, Kotone and, Futaba's bios. So, forgive me if I kind of speed through this a little bit, because this is pretty standard Persona stuff, if you're familiar with this series. I'll explain all you need to know about Fusion as we go through it. But yes, it's the second wildcard they sensed. Or is it?
何
There might already be more than two here. But that's if you know you know. And I'm not just talking about the P4 and P3 Pro tags.
いえ
Yeah. So you merge together personas, it's based on the arcana of those personas, is the resulting arcana. And you can fuse by results, or you can fuse manually. I'm so glad that fuse manually is still an option. Like, fuse by result is convenient, but sometimes you want to get rid of a couple of junk personas.
つまり
But this is actually new, so I believe in the first queue, this was based on the protagonist's level. Now, it's actually based on the highest level of the party, regardless of who it is. This is called the Wild level. The Wild level actually affects a number of things, not just your maximum fusion. Access to special fusions. So, the way that you unlock more forms of fusion is very unique in this game. And yeah, there's a compendium, as usual.
Nah.
I mean, you know, it makes sense, Ryuji hasn't been in here before. It is kind of interesting that Akechi was like, oh yeah, no, I kind of get this. I I don't know if he ever, like, had a velvet... I'm not sure exactly how things work with him. But yeah, we actually get a bunch of extra free personas here. And with the addition of a new companion with the power of the wild card, your persona stock has increased to 10. New member! Yes, we have Kotone! And, yeah, I think I'll go over fusions the start of the next part, because I'm like, yeah. The wild level. Yeah, you are actually able to, like, register something to the compendium before you fuse it by toggling on this copy function. But, yeah, again, I'll talk about this more next time because I need to go over our new party members now. Oh, yeah, also, we can change the battle music. Yeah, that's another thing I'll probably go over at the start of the next part. Because, yeah, let's actually go at... Okay, yeah, there's been a lot of cutscenes. I think we'll just do the bios and then end this. I love how Kotone and Ren are talking there on the couch. So... And I had to cut out just a little bit there because the cutscenes happen when you try and enter the labyrinth the next time. But we can now switch to Persona 3, of which we only have Kotone. We haven't actually shown her profile either. Second year at Gekkoukan High, she acts as the leader of her C's team. Cheerful, positive, and loves her friends. Rarely seen without her headphones. Her Naginata counts as a ranged weapon, so she can hit enemies from the back line. And she learns fire, healing, and combo skills. Let's go over that in more detail. The FeMC uses female Orpheus, and is weak to both electricity and curse. She will never lose her curse weakness, sadly. Her stats lean towards magic and endurance. The high magic is not the best for her because she's actually more of a physical attacker than a magical one. Kotone is the Link expert of the party. Now, we haven't actually shown Link skills yet, but they're an Etrian Odyssey mechanic that is extremely powerful when set up correctly. The speedrun of this game on Risky uses Link builds as its main strat. That's how good they are. At the moment, you will only get one follow-up attack with Fire Strike Link, but eventually, Kotone will learn the boosted Link skills, like Triple Link, Quadruple Link, and eventually Infinite Link. And once you get Infinite Link, that is pretty crazy. Her unique skill is Resonance, which raises Link damage by 15%. In the late game, this will upgrade to 25%. The follow-up attacks are counted as a separate attack to the initial hit. They're also not buffed by Power Charge besides the physical Link. It's kind of confusing that way. They're still really good. In terms of other skills, she gets higher tier fire skills, including some physical fire skills, but really you want to focus on Links. Getting Matarunda is kind of nice though. You will need sub-personas to give her more elemental Link skills, and in the early game, earlier access to skills like double and triple Link. But once you do this, Kotone becomes one of the strongest party members in the game, especially once she gets her evolved persona. She also learns Combo Arts and Combo Arts Plus to give a chance of another attack after a regular attack, which, regular attacks aren't something you want to be using if you have other options, especially since, you know, she can fuel her Links with HP. So yeah, all Links all the time. That is how she works. And with that, yeah, this has been a lot of cutscenes and stuff, but FeMC's finally here, so yeah, rejoice! Next time we'll be heading into the labyrinth with her and seeing how she works. See you all then.